If you're anything like me, then the thought of letting sewing scraps just rot away in a landfill doesn't sit quite right with you. So I came up with a way to use these scraps in a way that is useful to me, at least. Ta-da! This is my big scrappy cushion that I made. Completely quilted and filled with all the scraps. And I'm going to show you how I made it. So first I took all of my quilting cotton scraps that I've been saving in a bin and sorted them generally by color because I thought, you know, a rainbow would be nice. I didn't have quite enough of some of the colors, which you'll see, but I kind of fudged it, so, you know, good enough. You get the idea. So what I ended up with was this bin where I had all of the colors separated, and then these are the scraps that were kind of too small to sew with, so I just kept them to the side to use as stuffing later. And then I also used this scrap tape, and then this is the petal template. I'll link the pattern in the description. And then I also used this one little zipper. I don't know why I picked pink, it just seemed fun, I don't know. So I'm probably going to explain this really badly, but basically what you do is you take the scrap tape or whatever scrap fabric you have on the bottom, and then two pieces of fabric right sides together on the top, and you sew right along there, and then you just kind of keep adding as you go so that you can fill up the scrap tape. So yeah, you'll kind of see how it comes together as I go. So I did actually get to a point where I was working a little bit smarter than this, but basically what I did then was trimmed these strips so that they were about the same size as my template, and then I also trimmed all this overhang off the edges because I wanted rectangles that I could sew together, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm basically just neatening up the edges. If there were any big scraps that fell, that got cut off here, I just added them back into my pile to sew in, and if they were little, they just went into my stuffing bag, so we will see those later. So once I finish that, you can see this is what the strips look like. And then I put them right sides together so that I could sew them together so that I could create the flat piece of fabric that I am making. I was trying to work smarter, not harder here, so I had smaller pieces for the sides since I was doing a wedge. You'll see, it makes sense. And I did like vaguely try to make it so that it looked very cool and random, so that's what I'm doing. And this here is a perfect example of me trying to work smarter. And I finally started using my cutting mat to trim these when I realized it was a lot easier than trying to trim them with scissors. So after doing a really bad job of tracing the outline of the petal with sparkly gel pen, I cut it out. All of that for just one petal, and then I repeated it 7 more times. So I'm not sure if I gave up on recording at this point, but basically what I did here was I made 8 more petals out of 2 different contrasting fabrics because I needed it for the bottom. And then I also finally started sewing the petals together. I really don't know what happened with my footage because I swore I took more of each of the individual petals. But anyway, same idea, just sewing them together. This was daunting and also extremely difficult because of the amount of fabric. You can see it kept getting stuck, and I just kind of was like, fuck it. It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. But yeah, I was in too deep at this point. So since I was quilting this together, I needed to pin base the layers. So I had just gotten these new pins. Look how nice they are. They're so cute. Aha, finally. So here is a shot of the full top before I quilted it. So even though I've been quilting for a little while now, I'm still not super confident in my skills, so I started with the bottom because I knew that if it looked ugly you wouldn't see it much. I used a like rainbow gradient thread that I bought on Amazon and just kind of sewed through all the layers to get like a foundation, everything tacked down. And then from there I kind of followed the pattern that had you do like V's. So on the bottom I only did the gray, I only quilted the gray segments, but the top I quilted all of them. So I also needed the side, so I basically took one really long strip of leftover denim from a bodice that I made a while back for the Ren Fair, and I quilted that. Didn't do anything fancy with it. Honestly, measuring it was harder than anything because it wasn't like a straight line. I had to measure along those petals. But I figured it out, did some math, and made this big long strip for the sides. And then finally, I quilted the top. Honestly, I'd psyched myself out a little bit with this, but by that time I was pretty good at it, so it didn't take very long at all to quilt the top part. Sewing the top to the sides was a little tricky, but it wasn't too bad. It just took patience. At some point in there I sewed the zipper in, and then once it was done, I turned it right side out. And I was so excited to finally be done with this thing. And then all that was left was stuffing in all the scraps. So the reason why I chose to add a zipper instead of just sewing it shut was because I could either pull scraps out if I needed them for something, or, you know, as I finish projects, I can just stick the scraps on there, and I'm probably going to make a bunch more of these because I like to sit on the floor a lot, so it's nice to have a nice big floor cushion. So yeah, that's my finished little floor cushion. So this is where it was at a few months ago. You can see I did sew a button on there at some point because I just like the idea of the button in the middle, but it's a little bit floppier at that point because I hadn't finished some of my like Ren Fair costumes and stuff. But yeah, zipper. It's really hard to unzipper with one hand, but you get the picture. So it's actually been a while since I made this because I take forever to edit videos, so it's actually getting to the point where it's pretty full. I've been stuffing all the scraps from my Ren Fair sewing projects in it and blankets and stuff that I've made, so I probably will have to make one soon. You can also see that it's covered in cat hair because, you know, cats. I live with 3 cats, so but yeah, it's looking pretty good. So great news, this is cat approved, although unlike my Pokeball beanbag chair, I will not be surrendering it to the cats to use as a bed. Kona says she doesn't care, but that's like her. But yeah, so I hope you like this. This was kind of fun for me, and I'm hoping to make more videos like this in the future. Really enjoy, you know, showing the process of making things. If you aren't already, then go ahead and subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know what you've been working on, and I will see you next time. Bye!